Hey guys, so in this video I'm talking about the 12 questions from the financial community. I really enjoyed doing this. I like the Q&A version of YouTube videos. So, shout out to Ryan Giffen for starting this. Shout out to Gen X Dividend Investor for tagging me. And if you have any questions that this video doesn't answer, please leave them below. I'll probably make a video out of your question. So please, this is a long one. I apologize. I could have made it even longer. So leave me a like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy. Thank you. Hey YouTube. So the 12 questions from the finance YouTube community. I'm going to answer those today. And it should be pretty fun. And as far as tagging people, most of us have been tagged. I don't just want to just repeat tagging all these small guys over and over again. I think that's a little redundant, but there is one that I haven't seen tagged, and for the rest I am going to tag some other ones that I follow that you may not, that I think are pretty valuable resources for investing and retirement planning. And then I'm going to tag a few others that I enjoy, that I go to for entertainment and inspiration and things of that nature. So without further ado, we'll start off with question ones. I have them off to the side, so you're going to see me looking to the side. I probably have to use my glasses, which, I don't like because I don't like the reflection. But I'll probably take them on and off. The first question was, how old were you when you started investing? Well, my first official stock investment was, I was 18 and I worked at Walmart, and I got into the stock purchase program. They took out a little bit of money each paycheck, and yeah, it's something I probably wish I would have never sold off, because at that time, if I remember correctly, shares were in the $12 to $15 range for Walmart. That was pretty good. But after that, it was I didn't start investing again until age 43, which was last year, which was about a year ago today. And yeah, that was it. And next, number 2 is, why did you start investing? Well, at 18 I started investing because I had no freaking clue. The HR manager just convinced me it was a good idea, so I went with it, but I had no idea what the dang stock market was. At age 43 I started investing again, mainly because I want to retire early. I was one of those ones that thought I would just work forever and just work till I drop dead. And so yeah, that's why I started investing again. Number 3, what was your first investment? Well, first one was Walmart stock. And then at age 43, I opened an M1 Finance account. I don't even know how I found out about M1 Finance or who turned me on to it. But it was just a portfolio pie of a whole bunch of hodgepodge of stocks, and I threw like $50 in it, and I had like 50 cents of this stock and $1 of that stock, and it was a mess, and I evolved from that quite a bit. Number 4, what career field gave you the money to start investing? My wife and I run a very small promotional products company, and that's what we do. And that's her desk right there. Number 5. How many sources of income do you have and what are they? Well, this is it. I work from home. I'm pretty much partially retired now because I really only work part-time. Um, and yeah, that's it. Number 6 is one tip to someone who is starting to invest. A Roth, a Roth, a Roth. That is it. Um, Put your favorite ETF. Of course, everybody's going to say just do the S&P, but I mean, if it's a dividend ETF, if it's the NASDAQ ETF, if it's the Dow Jones ETF, it doesn't really matter. Well, I shouldn't say that because you don't want to just put any ETF, but as long as it follows a major index, I would say before you invest in any individual stocks, invest for a good while building yourself a good base into an ETF in one of the indexes while you learn the market. And then when you have yourself a good base in an index, in an ETF or a mutual fund, there's some no-fee mutual funds from Fidelity and some very low-cost ones from Vanguard. Then and only then should you start looking into individual stocks after you've done plenty of research. 7. What made you want to start a YouTube channel? I wanted to be the old guy. If none of you have seen my video on how I battled demons and depression when I was a youngster, one thing that helped me a lot was, well, I dropped out of school in the 7th grade. So all I did was wander the neighborhood, after that. And I was in a working class, lower working middle class neighborhood. So for the most part, all that was around at the time when everybody was in school or at work were old retired folks. And I loved talking to old retired folks. And I think that's what really saved me from going off the deep end in that horrible time in my life. So part of it is to be that old guy. And because, kids aren't walking around anymore in neighborhoods looking at they're not curious to talk to an old dude, so they're searching for stuff on YouTube. So hopefully, I can be that old dude. Number 8, did you have any reservations about starting a YouTube channel? Oh yeah. I'm a huge introvert. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd be a freaking hermit. I would never leave the house. I would go to pick up groceries, put gas in the car, and I'd come right back home. I would never leave, probably. Luckily, I'm married because, she forces me to get out of the house once in a while. Number 9, what is your channel about specifically? Well, it's about my life, really. My life is pretty boring, but I like to share stories. I like to, kind of turn some of my stories into something positive. I like talking about investing and retirement. I totally despise. It's really the financial industry that is telling people lies that you need $1 million to retire. Because I don't need $1 million to retire. Maybe you do, but they throw out these blanket statements that you need $1 million to retire. And what does that do? That just instills fear in you. It makes you, think you can't stop working, and it makes you invest more money with them. So That's why I always encourage, figure out what you need, because that's what's important, not what some, financial dude in a suit tells you what you need. Let's see. Number 10. What are the goals for your channel? Well, really, the goal for my channel was to be that old guy, and hopefully I can impact somebody with some of my stories, and hopefully, you know, again, be that old guy. Just, I want to listen to his story, and man, he did this, or man, he dropped out of school in the 6th grade or 7th grade. How did he do that? And look, he's okay. He raised a family, you know. So that's really my goal. In if it's what else did I put on here? I put on there, it's a long-term investment. So, you know, I'm in this for the long haul. As long as YouTube here, I'm gonna keep talking, because you know if it pays off one day, it pays off one day. But I'm not worried about it, because I want to be that old dude, and I hope that there's one kid in the world, in this YouTube world, that hears something that I had to say and it impacts his life in some way. I don't even need to know about it. It's just maybe I'll know about it in another world or in heaven or whatever. But that's really the goal. What are some facts people may not know about you from watching your channel? I had to ask my wife about this because I'm such a boring ass dude. And my wife said, tell him you're not Mexican. I get that a lot, because I moved. I come from the Bay Area of California, and we were a total mixture of races. Um, if there was anything, it was a majority of black was in the neighborhood, and the next were Filipinos, and the next were white people. We didn't have a ton of Mexican people, so I was exposed to a lot of black people, a lot of Asians. And so when I moved here, it was, it was a culture shock in for me, because I moved to the Central Valley of California, and there was a majority of Mexican Hispanic community, and so I was working for Walmart at the times. I moved here when I was 19. I transferred over to here. And I was like, it was a trip to me, because everybody was asking me, do I speak Spanish? Do you speak? I'm like, no, I don't speak Spanish. Why would I speak Spanish? It was a trip to me. And because my mom is Filipino, my dad's a white dude. And it's like, I guess I look Mexican. I guess that made Mexican. I don't know. And so when I was working at Walmart, some lady came up and asked me in Spanish something. I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And she straight up cussed me out in English because I didn't know how to speak Spanish. If I'm going to spend my money here, you're going to need to speak to me in Spanish. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, I didn't know I transferred to another country. Anyhow. But yeah, my mom is Filipino, my dad's white. I'm like 5'11", 230 pounds. My mom's like 4'10" and 100 pounds. So it looks funny, but I resemble my dad a lot more than I do my mom. What is the biggest investing mistake you ever made? Well, back in 2006, I let myself be convinced that I needed to buy a house, and houses were just going to continue to rise, and prices were going to go up, and I bought in hook, line, and sinker. Didn't do no research, had no idea about home buying, none of that. We ended up buying this house, and my wife and I, we made decent money. I was managing a store at the time, and she was a medical assistant. So between the both of us, we made okay money, but we didn't make house buying money where it was comfortable. And we bought it and we struggled. It was stressful. We had debt up the yin yang, and it was just horrible. And ended up a couple years later, my wife lost her job, and I simply couldn't afford it no more. And the housing market crash came, and we just let it go. We let it go, you know. That house was like 244,000 when we bought it. By the time they sold it, they wouldn't sell it to me, but they sold it for $64,000. So to this day, that house has never gone up to, hasn't even appreciated back up to what I paid for it. So we would have been screwed even if we stayed, unless they would have adjusted the money back, but they didn't. So, but actually, I'm glad I'm out of it. So there's those 12 questions, guys. Now I'm going to move on to the tags. Look at my notes here. There's one small investor channel that that I didn't see tagged that I really like, and he gets into very technical analysis and things, and a lot of the times it's like him and he's speaking Chinese to me, but I like it because the more I watch, the more I understand what he's doing. And I'd encourage you to go check him out, and that is Blood Phantom 81. Really technical guy. I strongly believe this kid is going to be, I call him a kid. Man, I'm old, dude. I strongly believe this young man is going to be a millionaire by the time he's 30. I believe it. So number 2 is going to be a bigger channel, and it's about retirement planning, and that's something that this guy is the one that got me not scared of retiring, not worried about it, you know, thinking about what you need. What is it that you need? You know, don't kill yourself to reach that $1 million, because you might not need it. And that channel is Heritage Wealth Planning. This guy is a video machine. He puts out, sometimes he puts out 4 or 5 videos a day. I mean, you can't even keep up with this guy. But Heritage Wealth Planning, I encourage all of you guys to watch him, because he gives some great, it's not investing, it's more planning. So I think that's a very, very important step that should go along with a lot of our investing community. Number 3 that I like very much, and he's fairly new, and I don't know if y'all know this, but every video starts with, "Hi, I'm Jimmy." And he does great videos, and he breaks stuff down, and I love the way he breaks things down and puts things together. But that is Learn to Invest. Okay, number 4. Now we're going to go off into what I enjoy, things that entertain me and all that kind of stuff. So number 4 is an odd one that you'll probably be like, what? And this one is a truck driver. And his name is Super Trucker Dan. And he drives a flatbed truck all over the country, just driving and picking up loads. For my entire life, I've always been fascinated by big rig trucks. And that is still, I would still love to take a ride in a big rig truck. So I love that part of that industry. If I didn't have a family, that's what I would probably be doing, is driving the country in a big rig truck. So that's Super Trucker Dan. Next one, I use this channel for entertainment, It's really geared toward entrepreneurs, but I enjoy it more for he does a lot of long form interviews. So he'll do interviews with like mafia, ex mafia people and celebrities and things like that. And I like these long form 2 hour videos interviews that he does. And that channel is Valuetainment. Valuetainment. Number 6 is where I like to kind of challenge my brain, and this is part of the reason why I love YouTube. I can literally you can literally sit in front of your computer in a university learning, sitting in the class with a professor. Here I am, 7th grade dropout, and I'm in a psychology class in the University of Toronto. And I think that is freaking awesome, man. And, yeah, I'll never get a degree, but at least I can, get some knowledge. And I love it. And that is Jordan B. Peterson. He's controversial a little bit. But, man, I really like, because he's psychology, and I like that. I like the learning how humanity works and the brain works and things like that. And last but not least is an odd one, and it's Rusty78609, and this is just, what would this be? This would be me. Like, if my wife ever left me, I would be this man. He's a 74-year-old man that just gets on YouTube and talks. All he tries to make it entertaining, but he's just an old dude. Lives by himself, and like I said, when I was a kid, I always liked to listen to older folks, and he kind of does that for me, and still to this day. And it was crazy because a couple months back, his YouTube channel got hacked, and he didn't put out a video. He usually puts out 2 videos a day. I kind of follow his schedule. I try to, but he puts out 2 videos a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And his YouTube channel got hacked, and he didn't put out a video for a few days, and I was like, oh man, he passed away. I was sad. I was depressed, because that's how it's going to happen. He's just going to pass away, and he's not going to make any videos no more, and that's going to be the end of it. And I thought that was the end of it. And I was like, man, that sucks. But luckily, he just got hacked, and he came back. So he offers some pearls of wisdom. He's funny. He's an old Texas man, and I just like it. Anyway, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate all of you. I literally hit 40 subscribers tonight, and I never thought that happened. To be honest with you, I thought I'd just languish into YouTube oblivion with my wife and my son as the only subscribers. So thank you very much. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.